today we're going to continue with our series. And that is, if you've not watched the previous video, please go on and watch them. But also, if they don't apply to you, it's also okay to continue with this particular video, because this is a series that I'm doing on modern Android development. Now, as promised, in this particular video, we are going to actually play around with two things. Number one, we are going to look into a tab cursor. I don't know, for those who've used Android, a tab cursor is where you tab and then you're able to move things on the side. And also we're going to look into an horizontal pager. And what we're going to do is just taking the same city project that we built before. And the reason as to why I'm taking this approach is I don't want us to create so many projects and you don't even need them at the end of the day. We can just build upon one project. And if we need to build a project from scratch, I'll definitely advise for this one, let's start from scratch. But here we're just going to use a couple of components that we already created before and just see how we can build a tab cursor. Now, by the end of the project, you should be able to, when you tab, you're able to see the cities. For instance, Singapore will showcase an image of Singapore and a description, but we're not going to use the card as a previous image. And then when you click, let's say on New York, it's going to showcase that. And when you click on the other one, it's going to be like that. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to close that package and create a new package. So if you notice, we've just been adding here. And here we're just going to create we're going to call this particular project, let's say tab example. I'm just calling not project, but rather package tab example. Inside tab example, I'm going to create a new file that I'm calling, what can I call this? I'm just going to call this city tab carousel. English is not my first language, so if you hear me struggle from time to time, please bear with me. Now, I'm going to create my composable function. And inside here, I'm going to create a city tab carousel. Now, so this one here is definitely, there we go. So I've created a city tab cursor. Now, inside this city tab cursor, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create, and as a matter of fact, one thing that I normally say is that you don't have to, normally what I say is that you don't have to create a top screen. Actually it's preference. Let me just put the word preference, because sometimes people want to start with an app or a screen that gets another thing and like that. But for at this moment, it's just preference. And also, if your company has patterns, I would also recommend on doing those patterns. But actually, so something else that I noticed is that as we build on this, if you really want to learn more Kotlin, you can, I will link some resources on this video on how to actually get better in Kotlin. So for people who've never played around with the language, I'll link some links here where you can play around with Kotlin. Now, I'm going to create, I'm going to call this, so I'm going to have, here I'm going to pass a mutable list, which will actually have a pair. And the pair is going to be a string and an int. And the reason as to why I'm doing this is because I want to pass in the title of that particular image and the image itself. Now, before we actually created a data class, but this time I'm just going to let us play around with other things in Kotlin, and then you can learn other tricks. So I'm going to call this pages. And in the pages, so think about the pages that you'll be tabbing through. Now, as I said, I'm going to pass a mutable list, but the list is going to be actually a pair. And as you can see, a pair in Kotlin takes two things. And the reason I wanted to use this one is I just want to showcase different techniques that people can use. Now here I'm going to pass a string, and this one is going to be an int. So what this just means is, in this particular page, what I'm going to do is pass those things in there, like the string and the int. Now, like I said, I can also come here and create a composable function and say city screen. And inside the city screen, I'm going to do that. And here I'm going to say val pages will be equals to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass in an array list, and you can choose a list of, an array list of, but here I'm going to put that, and then inside here, so I'm just going to pass a pair, and inside this pair, let's say I'm going to have Spain, and then r dot drawable dot, let's say Spain. I need to import this for sure. Import class Spain. The Spain that we had. Now, again, I'm going to do my shortcut. Oh, I forgot again. Okay. So I'm doing this shortcut because I don't think it's necessary for me to spend so much time on this one. Now, here I can easily just say, in fact, we can do this. Let me show you. I didn't want to use the previous one that we created, the data source, because I mean, eventually you can use this. But for now, I'm just going to actually copy that and put it here. But because I don't want the city, I'm just going to pass pair. And I'm hoping everyone understands why we're using pair is because we are trying to use a different object that's provided to us. Let me see. So I think I've redone spell. Now, and then what we're going to do here is that inside this one, we can actually have, like, if need be, if you need to do that, you can do city. Now call in that and then pass the pages. And you will notice that, oh, that one here is called city tab. That here is already used. Now let's go ahead now and continue now building on our city tab cursor. So what I'm going to do is that I will need definitely a context, which we normally get the local context.current. And you can also look into why we need a context. And so we'll need a pager. We'll need to be able to have a pager state. And what we'll do here, we'll say val. That's going to, no, I think that's actually going to be a var because we will reassign this particular pager state. And then here we'll say remember pager state. Let's not use the duplicated one. Oops, wait a minute. Remember pager state. So this, we don't need a is that the one we need? No, that's duplicated. We will definitely need this, but I don't think I need those. So I'm just going to put a close in there. And then what this says is we need to opt into that. Then I see it still has errors, so we're going to replace with that. So initial page is 0, initial page offset is that, provide page count. Okay, so this is interesting. I think Jetpack Compose is still very experimental, so that means a lot of things change over time, because I think when I was building with this, even at work, and what I'm building too, I did not build with this. I know this project is actually latest, so I'm using Hedgehog and definitely the latest dependencies. So let me see here what we do. So I think it needs a page account. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can say 6 right now, which will stop complaining, but I don't know if that's the recommended way. So I will definitely look into this, and maybe if I do a future video, I can reference this particular hack that we've just done there. I'm just going to call that a hack for now. Now, so Val, we will also need a CoroutineScope. We will also look at what this is. So I think CoroutineScope, which we will also need to remember. So basically what that remember does is, as you can see here, it returns a CoroutineScope beyond to this point in the composition using an optional coroutine context provided by the get context dot get context, and will only be called once the same CoroutineScope instance will be returned across recomposition. So it's very, very vital and very important to just know why those are used. And as you can see here, also we did use a remember. I find remember to be pretty nice because I mean we're just remembering, it's just what it means. Now let's go ahead and now create the scrollable tab row. Now you know how rows look like. Now I know there are things that I will do because I will try to draw it in like a rounded corner shape. So I'll try to see if I can get it perfect, but I'll try as best as I can. But also if you're given work, definitely you're given a Figma to work through. But because this one we're just coding from the top of our head, we're just going to think of our way to make it better. So we're going to need to import the scrollable tab view, and then in here the selected tab view, this is just going to be the pager state, and then what we need here is just make sure we call the current page, because we want to make sure that whenever it starts at the current page. Now we will also need to add the current page. We need to ensure that I add like an indicator. So yeah, this is where I'm going to get the indicator, and the indicator is just going to tell us, hey, look, this particular place, I want this to point here. Now again, as I mentioned, you have the it, don't just leave it as it, give it a good description, so that if somebody, and I think actually they are suggesting it for us, so that if somebody is new and they don't know what they're doing, they'll be able to read this code and understand this code. Now, so the tab position, what we're going to do with the tab position is we're going to check the tab row defaults, and then we can get the indicator, and then we can check when the page indicator offset is on the state, give this particular state, and then let that position be that position. So I'm going to do tab row default, which is the first one, and then as I mentioned, I'm just going to call the indicator. Now inside the indicator, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the modifier, and inside the modifier I'm going to call the pager tab, that one right there, and inside I'm going to pass the pager status set, and then I'm going to pass in the tab positions, because it's very important to ensure that those are passed. And then inside the height, I'm not going to give it any particular height, I'm just going to give it a 0. And I think, if you ask me, I don't think it's necessary, but I'm just going to put that there. Now it's telling me I need to opt into that. Oh, and also I want to mention that I'm using accompanies for this particular selected tab row. So you will need to make sure that you import this for it to work. If it doesn't work, just figure it out. Just know that this is why it's not working. So make sure that's imported. Now I see we have an error here. It says that the type mismatch required page state. Oh, okay. I think I might know what's happening here. Let me see, because I think we imported let me see if we can import the let me see. Wait, it said it's required. So required is that, but we gave it this. So I think we're just going to change a couple of let me see, remember page state. Let me see if I can just remove this import for now, and that import, let me see what other, I think this is, that's the correct one that we need. So let's see if this one we get the, okay, so here we need accompanies, we don't need the other one. So actually, yeah, so I think if you noticed before, I had imported the other one, but now I've imported this one here because we need to keep track of the indicator. Now see the tab positions also complain. Let me see what it says here. Required is tab position, but we're giving it materials 3 position. So found material 3 tab position, and it required that. So let's see how we fix that. So definitely a lot of inputting issues here. So let me see. So this is that. Let's see. That's material 3 for sure. But where is our tab? The tab position right here. So the indicator. Let me format this a little bit because I want to see what this means. Okay, so required list of that. but we found material 3 tab position. How did they pull in material 3? Definitely it's import issues, but yep, we got this. Tab row, material 3. I mean, seriously speaking, that's pretty odd. I mean, I know I just removed material 3, but maybe that's why it's hard for people to adjust to material 3, because I mean, I don't know why that's complaining like that, because I don't know what I needed to do there. But if you notice, it just removed it through 3, and that just worked. So, and knowing that, so what we're going to do next is we're just going to continue coding our, so I'm just going to move that up. And what we need now is definitely, if we need any edge padding, I don't think I need any edge padding for now. What else do we need? And also something else that I normally mention, if you know what this is going to take, if you think I'm guessing, no, I'm not guessing, it's just through this. This is how you know what the scroll tab view needs. As you can see, this is all it needs here. As you can see, what I called was just edge padding, and that it was just there. Edge padding was already there. And then they're giving you a background color, so you can put a background color if you want to, but you don't necessarily have to do that. So, but you can say, let's say I want the background color here to be maybe color white, and that's okay, because that's what we're doing now. So we've already defined all this. So how do we get the pages, right? So we're going to do now pages. We're now using the pages we defined here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop through for each index, right? Because we're using a pair. Don't forget we created a pair. So for each index, and what we're going to do here, I'm going to just say the index, and instead of using words that are not very clear, I need to use words that are clear. And this one, of course, was a pair. So I will have the title, but for now, since I'm not using the image here, I'll just pass the nothing there. But you can see there the string was the title and the int. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another val and say is selected, because I need to make sure I keep track of the selected. And then I'm going to get the page state, and then see when we are in the current position, just give me the index, initialize that to index. And then here's now is where I'm going to create something different. This is going to be a composable function by itself, which is the tab header. And the tab header, it's going to take the title. And then I think it's going to check the boolean is selected. And then what happens when we click? So when we click, I'm just going to keep track of where we are, because we need to be able to move from one place to another. So when we click, we're going to get the CoroutineScope, and then we will launch that. And then what happens when we launch? Just like a scroll, we will animate the scroll. I'll show you once we start looking into when it's completed, you'll see what that means. And here I'll just animate scroll to page. I don't think I need to do a lot here. Oh, I think we need to pass in the index so that we know that we are in the right place. Now, I don't think we need to do a lot here on this particular tab header, because I feel like that's already done. What we're just going to do is going to create that tab header for now. But for now, you can just leave this as is. And as you can see there, this is where the scrollable tab ends, and this is the column. So what we're going to do here is just leave that as is there. Notice I was hiding my video all this long, but that's okay. Everybody's already seen my face. So we will come back and touch on now the horizontal page. But for now, we need to create this particular composable here. So let me see if I can easily create that. And there, it's created for me. I don't know why they're saying their job. I mean, why are they calling that a job? I can just call this a unit. And that's enough for now. Now, so this one here, I'm going to pause the video because I think it requires a lot of, it doesn't require a lot of thinking, but definitely I can't guess through all this. So I'm going to pause this and see if I can borrow from the other project. I paused the video and I went and added a couple of things because I didn't think it would make sense for me to write this all on top of my head because I don't remember all this. So what I did is I added the tab cursor. As you can see, what I just did, it was a row, and then I have the text here and the title. As you can see, I'm passing the title. I've also added my own colors. You can add your own colors. And then I have the tab header here. And if you're also, so this is the tab header that we created up here. You can see that. So what I did is I have it as rounded. Sorry, not rounded, but bounded, and then it has the remember ripple. As you can see, we have the box where we put the tab cursor. So I'm just gonna scroll slowly because I know if I write this entire code, it's going to be longer than 20 minutes or 25, which is what I'm aiming for most of my videos this time. And here I'm going now to add the horizontal pager. And as you can see, the horizontal pager takes the count, and the count is just going to be the pages, the size. We want the size of those pages. And I think we can also keep monitor the state. I don't know if, oh yeah, it takes states. Okay, so we're going to monitor the state. Remember, we create the pages state, and then finally we can do a modifier. So a modifier, I like to call it a decorator. It's like we are decorating this thing, and what we're going to do is we're going to tell it fill the max width, and then and then here we're going to say fill the max height, and you'll see how this one comes out. I've just formatted the code there, and then here I'm just going to tell it, oh no, I just want to be here, not all the way out. And then I'm going to give it a background color of just white. I'm just getting the color directly from there. Now, if you notice, it had a scope, the pages scope. So what goes in the pages scope? What's going to go in the pages scope now is our decision. It's up to us to decide. Remember at the beginning when I told you all that we wanted to create a pager such that when you tab, you see the names of the cities, but then what's going to be displayed in those tabs when we tab them? So what's going to be displayed is an image and the text. Now let's go ahead and create that image. So here we're going to create the image, and in the painter resource, what we are going to do is that we are going to actually go through our pages pair, but we're going to get the second part of the pair. So let me show you what I mean. So here I'm going to do pages, and inside the pages I'm going to go through page. Hold on. So the page is, I'm going to create here the page. Remember that this pages scope, it's always good to give a good description. So that's what I mean. But then here it's going to complain because it's like, I don't know what you're trying to do. I don't know what's happening. And also I feel like I'm messing it up here because I need to put this in a painter resource, and then that's much easier. Now here, now I can get the second, because what I mean by second is just here, this one here, the pair, but the second here, which is int. Now in the content description, we're just going to put the string that we have already. So let me do string resource r.string.images for now. And then once I format that, we'll have that. So do we need to do anything else? Definitely, as we did previously on the other. You can do as many things as you want, but I just want this to be, can I say, the content scale to just, let's just put it in the center. Nothing special, nothing unique, just that. Now let's go ahead now and create the text. So our text is going to now also have the same, but here I'm going to say city names, and inside this I'm going to, so we use this keyword in Kotlin. As I mentioned again, I'm going to post resources in these videos where you can learn Kotlin, because I've used a little bit of heavier Kotlin on this part, just showcasing how you can get this, how you can use the pairs, and how you can display, let's say, the first or second in the pair. But here what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I'm going to get the text for each. That means if it's Spain, the displayed text should be Spain, should not be anything else. So I'm going to do again like I did there, pages, and then pass the page. But instead of getting now the page itself, I need fast. Here, as you notice, I didn't pick any order. It's just an image and the text, nothing very unique or strategic or, you know. And then I can add, let's see, a modifier and say, which is not needed. I feel like this part is not needed. So I'm just adding it to just showcase how you can, or how it will look like when I say fill the max width, which I don't think I need. So you can remove that. You don't need to add that. And then the style again, as we did, is just I need to align this text to center. So you can do a text style, or even you can say just align it to center. Let me just show you what I mean. So it's funny because you can use this text style and then align it to center, or you can do text align, I believe, and then just say text align to center, and that will center the text. If it doesn't, then we'll try. Now I think we are done. As I mentioned again, I just I just paused the video and added the tab header and the tab carousel, as you can see. And so the reason as to why I did that is because this code, you can reuse it in many places as you want. You don't have to create anything unique about that. Now what I'm going to do next, I noticed I didn't use my context, so I can remove that. I thought I would use it, but I didn't use it. Yeah, sometimes you can use the context if you want to get the color, or if I wanted to get the string resource, but I'm not using it. So I'm now going to my main activity and commenting this out, and now adding the city tab carousel, and then it takes a pager, city tab carousel. Oh, not the carousel, sorry, the screen. That's why I'm like, wait a minute. Were we supposed to take a pager there? No. So we need the city screen. And let's make sure we import that. Now, when we run the app, hopefully, we should see, let's see, hopefully it doesn't take long too, but we should see at tabbed items, that is Spain, New York, Singapore, and when you click them, they should show an image of Singapore and the text, and then an image of New York and the text on that particular tab. So let's see. And that's how you build a scrollable tab view, and also how to use a horizontal pager. And I have to say, it was pretty tough building this before, because I think I would be Googling everywhere how to do it. For some reason, I don't know why building the XML was pretty tough. It didn't stick to it didn't stick. I had to Google most of the time, like, how do I do this? So install successfully finished. So it's already here, and it's launching. There we go. That's our app. And there we go. It's not perfect, of course, but as you can see, we have that. As I mentioned, as you can see, city name Singapore shows Singapore, city name Switzerland shows Switzerland, and all that stuff. But as you can see, we have that there. So we can definitely fix this, even make it better, like make sure this image fills the entire screen, and then city name. But this is just an example. But yeah, again, code in life I didn't expect that, but it worked. And also it has an error. Again, to me, I'm not perfect. And also you can do this. You don't have to click on top. You can just tab doing this. As you can, cool. That's it. Thank you very much, and watch out for the next video.